confirm that you can hear me. Do you hear me? Just. Okay, yeah, good. Monica, thank you very much. Yes, okay, good. Thank you. That's the first and most important step in order to continue ahead with this webinar. Let me firstly share my screen, and I hope that you're seeing my screen for sure. Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on a topic: use of an AI, artificial intelligence, in offensive cybersecurity. My name is Blerim. I'm an experienced iExperts instructor and cybersecurity consultant with more than 30 years of experience in the field of ICT. And I'll be happy to guide you today through this critical and rapidly evolving subject, which is use of artificial intelligence in cybersecurity. So as cyber threats grow more complex and get more sophisticated, so must the tools and strategies we use stay ahead with these technologies. Artificial intelligence is not anymore something that would happen in the future. It's already happening. So it's actively transforming how the offensive security operations are designed, executed, scaled, and so on. So today we'll explore how AI technologies like machine learning, natural language processing, and deep learning are being integrated into offensive cybersecurity, and by enhancing the reconnaissance, automating exploitation, personalizing social engineering, and even enabling autonomous red teaming. Yeah, that's already happening. Autonomous red teaming. So we'll also discuss a real world use cases. So what I decided to show you today, once we finish the concepts I plan to present in front of you, we'll see some practical use cases of AI in practice. More specifically, I will demonstrate how ChatGPT is being involved in offensive security. So once we reach that stage, you will see practically how it looks like. So thank you again for joining us, and let's dive now and explore how AI is reshaping the offensive side of cybersecurity. Yeah, here's today's agenda. We'll see firstly, very shortly, the evolution of offensive security. Then we'll see the AI's role in the offensive cybersecurity landscape. We'll dive into the advantages of AI in OffSec, offensive security, disadvantages. We'll see the future trends, and at the end, as I told you, we'll see some very practical use cases. Yeah. First, something about the evolution of offensive cybersecurity. So lately, the offensive cybersecurity has rapidly evolved from manual penetration testing to highly automated AI-driven attack techniques. So modern tools now leverage artificial intelligence to identify vulnerabilities, simulate entire attack chains, and adapt in real time by replicating human decision making with platforms like ChatGPT. ChatGPT is one of the platforms which is being used in offensive security as an artificial intelligence tool. So these advancements have led to more precise, stealthy, and targeted attacks. So as the threat landscape becomes more sophisticated, so do the ethical and legal challenges, raising important questions around the responsible use of AI in cyber offense. So this is how the offensive cybersecurity has evolved during the time. First, we have the shift from manual to automated tasks, where the OffSec has evolved from traditional penetration testing to AI-driven automated attack techniques. We have different plethora of tools that are being integrated with OffSec. We have some advanced tools like Shell GPT, which we are going to practically show you how it functions. We have increased stealth and targeting, like offensive techniques, which are no more targeted and stealthy, which often mimics advanced persistent threats. We have nation-state threats, which is the rise of cyber warfare by nation-states has pushed offensive capabilities to new levels and sophistication. Of course, lately there is a big discussion about the ethical and legal challenges of AI, but we'll come to that in a while. So let's see something now very basic about the AI in offensive cybersecurity. So in offensive cybersecurity, the artificial intelligence brings a new level of capability like machine learning, natural language processing, and deep learning. So this mix of these technologies enables the AI to process massive amounts of data, recognize different patterns, and make decisions much faster than ever before. So this is the key benefit, I would say, of the implementation of AI in cybersecurity. Is the decision-making process has become much, much, much quicker than ever before. And its key strengths, like speed, precision, scalability, and adaptability, make AI a powerful ally in automating and optimizing attacks and offensive security when it comes to the penetration testing process. So, but the real game changer in this sense is the synergy between the human expertise and AI tools, and thus creating the augmented offensive capabilities that significantly enhance both the efficiency and effectiveness of the red team operations. So the offensive cybersecurity landscape, what we are witnessing nowadays we are witnessing the sharp increase in zero-day exploits and advanced persistent threats, or APTs. Okay, so these are often used by highly skilled threat actors, including sometimes nation-state groups, to penetrate networks undetected and maintain access over long periods of time. That's why this concept is called advanced persistent threats. What's especially concerning is the reduced time to exploit. In many cases, once a vulnerability is discovered and disclosed, attackers can weaponize it in less than 24 hours, and in some cases, much less. So this puts enormous pressure on defenders to patch quickly and accurately. Additionally, the red team faced significant challenges, not just from the sophisticated threats, but also from the overwhelming volume of data and complexity of modern IT environments. Now, we all know the widespread use of the cloud computing, for example, which has eliminated, I would say, the very visible compared to the traditional network infrastructure, where everything was inside the company. Now, even small companies, not to mention medium-sized or big-sized company, they use a different plethora of cloud computing services. So when you involve cloud computing services into your organization, then this perimeter, security perimeter, becomes very complex. And that's why this is the most significant challenge for cybersecurity protection of assets within the company. So with hybrid cloud setups, add to this IoT, Internet of Things, and constantly shifting attack surfaces, red teams must now operate more strategically and leverage automation and AI to remain effective and efficient against different kind of sophisticated AI attacks. So here are shown some AI tool categories used in offensive security. For example, for reconnaissance process, we have Shell GPT, which we will see in a little while. Then you have Maltego natural language processor, ReconNG AI modules. ReconNG is a very well-known suite of tools used in offensive cybersecurity. Then you have exploitation tools like GPT enhanced payload generation, Autosploit. Then you have some post-exploitation tools like AI-based privilege escalation and lateral movement planners. And we have lately a lot of social engineering tools that use the AI. For example, AI for phishing, voice spoofing, and deepfakes, which are very present nowadays in the cybersecurity, the cyberspace. So let's see now what are the advantages of using AI in offensive cybersecurity. First is speed, fast discovery and execution. Okay, so AI tools actually can discover vulnerabilities and execute attacks far faster than traditional methods. Secondly, scalability. They can operate across hundreds or thousands of targets simultaneously, something human teams would struggle to do a lot. I mean, thanks to automation by using machine learning and artificial intelligence, is it possible now that an attacker or an ethical hacker can leverage and test or attack towards thousands of targets simultaneously? So this is about scalability. Third advantage, it's a reduced skill barrier. So uh, junior testers get senior level output. I mean, it's not completely true. I think that you understand why, because the experience, it's not that easily replaceable, I would say, from my experience, okay? So enabling junior testers to generate outputs that would typically require senior level expertise, but still, I think that the fundamentals and use of tools and their impact when you use them in OffSec requires, of course, the expertise and experience. But still, some automated tools can leverage something like this. And finally, as AI's multi-language understanding is a game changer nowadays, especially for example, for social engineering, where it can craft phishing messages in multiple languages, making the attacks more convincing and globally scalable. So these are the main advantages of using the AI in OffSec. But on the other side, so it's usually said that there is the other side of the medal. So let's see what are the disadvantages and risks when using AI in OffSec. So while AI offers the powerful benefits we've seen in offensive cybersecurity, it also comes with some limitations and some risks. Some of them, the most present, have been shown here. So one major issue with all AI tools in general is hallucination. Okay, so the large language models can in fact generate comments or code that look correct but are actually wrong, or in many cases are even harmful. So that's why I repeat again, experience is quite super important in offensive cybersecurity. despite the fact that the AI has become as a kind of game changer. And this is the reason. So the AI tools are still not perfect. So they can give wrong responses, wrong results, wrong codes, and so on. So when it comes to the experience, an experienced offensive cybersecurity expert can quite often notice that something is going wrong with some tools when it generates some kind of output which looks not good. Okay, so another limitation is the lack of context. So AI doesn't always grasp the full environment or nuances of a network, and this can lead to a poor decision making. So this is actually the main drawback of nowadays used AI tools. So we should all the time train them with a different scenarios and different contexts. Okay, so the context is very, very important when it comes to the AI use. This is one of the disadvantages. Then there is a misuse of potential. Okay, so these same tools can help, for example, ethical hackers that can easily be used by malicious actors to launch sophisticated attacks. So if these tools, which are being used by the ethical hacker, if they leak somehow and come into the hands of the wrong people, then here's the problem. So, and lastly, there is a risk of data leakage. So if sensitive information is entered into AI prompts, especially in cloud-based models, it could inadvertently be exposed or stored insecurely. These risks highlight the need for cautious and responsible use of AI in cybersecurity operations, especially in offensive cybersecurity operations. So what about the defensive response to AI-powered attacks? So as offensive actors adopt AI, defenders must evolve as well. Okay. One key strategy is using AI within the blue teams, and that's leveraging large language models for anomaly detection, for example, threat hunting, and behavior analysis at scale. So these tools can spot subtle deviations in network traffic or user behavior that traditional methods might miss simply. Okay. So another emerging technique is monitoring for AI crafted artifacts, such as detecting from fingerprints or unnatural linguistic models, which often are found in AI generated phishing emails or scripts. So, what we are seeing nowadays is the beginning of the defensive AI arms race. Red AI versus blue AI. Well, both sides are using intelligent systems to outmaneuver each other. So the defenders who embrace AI effectively will be better equipped to keep pace with these evolving threats. So another fact, which or another very important aspect of AI use is the ethical and legal consideration. When integrating AI into offensive cybersecurity, ethics and legality must be at the center. I mean, it must be the main focus to be discussed. First, always operate within the scope. Uh, I don't know what is your background in the penetration testing concepts, but let me just explain the process very simply. So before the ethical hacker starting the technical part of performing the penetration testing process, the penetration tester must beforehand agree with the client on the scope of the penetration testing. So that's why first always should be operated within the scope. That means having a clear signed agreements with a client that define what's allowed during the penetration testing engagements and actions. Also, it should be made sure that all AI-generated content and actions are auditable, so you can trace back decisions and ensure accountability afterwards. So compliance with the data protection laws and intellectual property rights and even export restrictions. Yes, many countries have export restrictions for some very sensitive technologies, like, for example, cryptography. I don't know if you have noticed on some devices, because I don't know now your background. We don't have enough time now to check everybody's background. But I have a lot of experience, hands-on experience in the industry. I have worked for one of the largest telecom in the world, AT&T. And what I've seen many times on many devices, there is a banner which shows up when you start the device, and on that banner, it was clearly marked that that device contains a cryptographic technology which is subject to exportation laws in US or whatever. So this is very important, this export restriction. And nowadays, the race of AI between different countries. So every country, I mean the most developed countries in the world, they are waging nowadays a kind of race who will develop the I would say the better, the faster, the more reliable AI system globally. So this is why there are some export restrictions, especially with AI models, which is quite essential in this sense when it comes to the especially legal considerations. Okay, so as per integration of AI responsibly, to integrate AI responsibly actually is to adapt a human in the loop approach. This is the so-called human in the loop approach. So, which means that you shouldn't let AI act autonomously without human verification. This is super important. So, don't let AI act autonomously without human verification whenever possible. So, sanitize both inputs and outputs to avoid data leakage or injection of sensitive information. So in high security environments, for example, consider using local LLMs, large language models, local large language models. Why? In order to avoid sending data to external servers. Yeah, as simple as that. Yeah. And finally, log all AI assisted actions to maintain transparency and support incident response or legal review if needed. Okay. So responsible use, it's not just best practice. Nowadays, it's a necessity. So responsible use, it's a necessity. It's not just best practices that it's in use today. So what about the future trends? Looking ahead, the future of AI in offensive cybersecurity is both exciting. I mean, many different tools and technologies are coming every day, literally, but at the same time is concerning. So it's both exciting and concerning. So one major trend is the rise of, for example, autonomous red team agents, which is an AI system capable of independently conducting full attack chains from recon to exploitation with minimal human input. So this is what autonomous red team agent is. Then we are encountering nowadays something which is called agent training, where different AI tools are linked together. That's why it's called agent chain, right? Where different AI tools are linked together, like GPT generating reconnaissance tasks, auto-recon, collecting data, exploit databases, searchers identifying relevant exploits, and thus creating powerful and automated offensive workflow. Then we have multimodal AI, where systems combine voice, video, and text to launch more convincing and sophisticated attacks. That's why it's called multimodal. Use or combination of voice, video, and text. And imagine, for example, phishing emails enhanced by deepfake videos or voice clones, which dramatically increases the potential for social engineering attack success. And finally, for security conscious organizations, it's likely to see a greater use of on-premises AI appliances designed specifically for private red teaming. This is one of the best practices nowadays used by the big companies. So on-premises AI appliances. Okay, so this will allow teams to harness the power of AI without exposing sensitive data to cloud-based models and keeping the control and compliance in-house. Yeah. Okay. And now, before we go ahead, and before I will show you some practical use cases, I chose to present you Shell GPT. I don't know how you familiar or whether you know what Shell GPT is. Simply put, Shell GPT is an AI-powered command line assistant that integrates large language models, LLMs, like ChatGPT, with terminal environments to help automate and enhance offensive cybersecurity tasks. So what it can do, for example, Shell GPT, for example, can generate shell commands, craft Nmap scans, parse outputs, automate scripts, create scripts, execute scripts, and assist with tool usage. And all through natural language input, which you are going to see in a little while. So this will relieve you from knowing some complex commands. Imagine in Linux or Kali Linux or Pirate Security, when you need to type a long command with a lot of switches, dash that, dash dash that, and things like that. Shell GPT will relieve you from that. So you don't need to remember any switch or anything else. You will just tell Shell GPT in a plain language, either English or any other language which is being supported by Shell GPT. You will just tell Shell GPT what to do, and in the background, Shell GPT will create those complex commands with those switches and options and will yield for you the result. For the red teamers and penetration testers, Shell GPT significantly accelerates tasks like reconnaissance, enumeration, and exploitation by combining AI's language understanding with terminal functionality. So, in one word, Shell GPT is, for example, Chat GPT integrated within the terminal, command line terminal. So you don't have to go out of the terminal line where you type commands in order to get something. Okay, so this is the main benefit. In one place you have everything. Okay, uh, here's the demo prompt. You will type as GPT. This is the command that activates Shell GPT. You will put within the quotes. You will tell generate a stealth nmap scan for Linux server with that and that IP and summarize open ports. So instead, you would have to type a complex command with some speeches, numbers, and so on in order to get. In this case, as you can see, this is that. In a plain English, you will tell Shell GPT what to do, and it will do it. It will do it for you. Yeah. Yeah, we will see some use cases. For example, this first use case will look at AI, how it will streamline and accelerate the reconnaissance phase in offensive cybersecurity. So, in addition to natural language processing tools, you can analyze and summarize, for example, service banners. So instead of manually scanning and going through lines of text, AI gives you a human readable overview of what's running on the target system. Okay? So what I will do now, I will not go further. I mean, I think that I will deliver this presentation to all of you. But what I will do now, I will go to the cloud environment. Maybe you recognize this. It's EC Council's lab environment. I have already integrated Shell GPT into Parrot Security. Yeah, there are out there a lot of instructions how to integrate Shell GPT in Parrot Security. I mean, we don't have enough time to do this, but maybe we will spread this document also to all of you. So once you integrate Shell GPT, in order to integrate Shell GPT into your Linux machine, you have to have a ChatGPT account, and you have to create another account for API, which is integrated with the same account. You have to top up some money on your account, like €5 or $5, which is quite enough. Then you generate the API key. Once you generate API key, you have to put it into the terminal line with SGPT, and everything will be ready. So I have done that part, and now I will show you just how it simply works. For example, we will do some information gathering now in the reconnaissance phase. We'll tell, okay, let's test firstly whether Shell GPT is working. We type SGPT. You type just simple hello. If you get some kind of response, just like with ChatGPT, you see, hello, how can I assist you today? This is simple test just to see whether Shell GPT is in a working condition. So now we'll tell SGPT chat will do some scan on the network. This is the syntax, how it works. And now within the quotes, we will put what we want to do. For example, we can tell use HPing3 tool, for example. HPing3 is one of the tools for scanning. To perform ICMP scanning on the target IP address, for example, 10 and 10.1.11 in this case, and we can tell it and stop after, for example, 15 iterations. You know, if you perform the ping towards a kind of destination, it will run it indefinitely. Yeah, it will not stop. So we will tell to execute the ping command towards 10.10.1.11 and stop after 15. I made a typo. I mixed T with B. So instead of typing again, I will just go. Instead of typing SGPT, I typed SGTP. Okay, here's the mistake. SGPT. That's it. Another typo. My keyboard is quite old, so I needed to type. So you should be careful when typing the comments. I mean, not within the bracket, within the quotes. I missed one dash, more dash here. So chat, scan. And now here's how it works. So we told SGPT language model to do this. I don't know if you can notice this text in violet is the actual command you had to type. So now we'll tell execute. So we have the options to execute, to describe, and to abort. We'll type capital E to execute, and here it is. So we will have 15 iterations because we told to stop after 15 iterations, and that's it. 15, and that's it. Yeah. Okay. So I will. So another use case would be SGPT chat. We'll use a scan module dash dash shell. Now we will scan the whole subnet, for example. We'll tell scan the network, and the target network. We will give the subnet 10.10.0/24 subnet mask for active hosts and place only the IP addresses into the file net. Okay, let's name it net1 txt. So what we are telling SGPT to scan this whole subnet and the result to be saved into a file, into textual file named net1. As you can see, the SGPT has created the command. Otherwise, we would had to type. You see, so we could make a mistake in any of lines in any character. So if we miss this single quote, everything would go wrong. So we just told the shell GPT, it created the command execute. The command has been executed. The result has been saved into net1 txt. So ls-l, and here's the file, net1 txt. Let's see what's inside. So more net1 txt, and we will see the content of this file. Here it is. Here's the result. So the shell GPT has scanned the network, has found that these IPs are live hosts on the network, and we've seen the result within the file. Another use case would be, for example, to use this file. Now we have found live hosts. Now next would be, for example, SGPT chat. We have a scan module shell, and now we will tell run a fast but comprehensive scan against. Now, instead of giving the IPs of live hosts, we will tell against the IPs which are present in the files net1 txt. So all the IPs which are within that file, we'll tell with low verbosity, no too much details, and write results in, for example, net2 txt. So we can save the results in a textual file simply. I mean, these are the possibilities. It's just to show how it is again. I don't know why I mistype sometimes SGTP instead of SGPT. Seems that it's a kind of bug in my fingers while typing this very first command. SGPT. Yeah, execute. Here's the actual command we would have typed. Otherwise, you see, with all those switches and options. In the background now, the process is running. So it has scanned all those live hosts. And now let's see whether that file has been created by SGPT, where it has stored the results. Yeah, net2txt. Okay, see. There are different ways to show the content. I usually use more. And here's the result of scanning. As you can see, for example, for the host with IP 10.1.1.2 has found that port 53 is open, 88 is open. Then the Nmap scan result for the other live host, for the other 5 hosts, then next, for the other 10.1.22. Otherwise, as you can see, there is a difference between this 10.1.1.2, which is machine, ordinary machine, and between this machine, which is a Windows Server 2022. As you can see, you have much more ports found on the server. So this is the result of the scanning, which we've told SGPT to save it into the file. So you can do all kind of mixing combination, telling SGPT what to do, how to do, and so on. What else? Let me choose. Okay, I'll do this last one. I mean for today, because with SGPT, yeah, now I type chat scan shell bash was user to scan for open ports and services against a list of IPs, IP addresses in net1txt and copy only the port so we can do filtering, okay? Instead of getting a large report, we can narrow down what we would like to see on that report, and this is that case. We are telling just copy only the port, service, and version information with the respective IP address. So a new file, you see, named net3, for example, txt. New file, yeah, we should be named or called, whatever. As you can see in the background, this is the command we would have to type, otherwise, you can see a lot of syntax, so we are relieved from that. We just tell it, execute, we wait until the process complete, and then we'll just verify the file once the result gets saved into the file we told SGPT to save. In all cases, net3txt. So it takes time depending on the type of the scan. Of course, for all of you who are familiar with this, depending on the type of the scan, it takes more or less time for the scan or information gathering process to be completed. It seems that it is taking a bit more time. Yeah, wait. So that's it basically. Yeah, I mean, you can do almost whatever it comes to your mind to gather information. What I just demonstrated practically is the practical uses of ChatGPT into the information gathering phase of the penetration testing process. So I just gathered some information from, yeah, it finished, as you can see, ls-l. Let's confirm that NAT3 is here. Okay, let's examine what's inside. More NAT3 text. And here's the result. Okay, so Nmap scan report for 10112. It has described what port and what service, but nothing more. I mean, for every device, this is just for one host. Actually, for one host, this is what one host. For the host with IP address 10112, this is the report for the host 10119. As you can see, it gives you information what kind of operating system is 80, then Nmap report for 10, 111, and so on. So there is more to this file. So that's it. Okay. Okay, that's all I plan to show you today. I know that there is much more to talk about this topic and to discuss about the topic, but this is the time we had at our disposal. So I just left some time now for your possible questions. I think that you have a lot of questions to ask. If you have a very broad topic, it's ongoing. We've seen the advantages, disadvantages, use cases. So the bottom line is to be, from my experience, to be cautious and careful in using AI tools into the offensive cybersecurity in order to make sure that everything works well. I mean, all the tools should be tested beforehand in the testing environments to see the outcomes, the result, and so later on, once all the tests has been done, only then you can implement something very closely into your system. Uh, I mean, the pace of all these things is, I would say, at lightning speed going on. So sometimes there is not enough time even to check all the things thoroughly. Okay, that's actually all from my side. If you have any question, please do so and ask your question either on the chat or no questions. I think that you have a lot of questions, but due to the lack of time, maybe. Uh, okay, we can do like this. I mean, I can. Okay. Yeah, we've got a question. Nowadays, yeah, Frank and Laura, yeah, thank you for your question. What are the most common? What are the most common AI-driven attack vectors you're seeing now? Phishing, malware generation, deep uh, fakes. I would say in all areas, these AI-driven attack vectors are, especially in phishing, in multimodal type of phishing, when the attackers combine voice, video, and text, including email and SMSs and things like that, by combining all of them, and then you have deep fakes. For the malware generation, you have all these polymorphic viruses and malwares will that get evolving along the way. So there is a lot ongoing in this. Okay. Dulal is typing. How can we restrict some functions when you Dulal? Do you mean? I mean, I am not getting completely clear your question. What do you mean by functions? Because when you say of particular IP address represents a kind of host, which might be a server, might be a firewall router. Functions of okay. Uh, Activity. Uh, have you heard about the access control lists? Okay, I will write down in the chat. I think that most likely your question is about. So you can do it by implementing access control lists, for example, firewall rules, etc. Access control list can be implemented when you want to filter either the user-generated traffic or management traffic or control traffic. This is the way you can do some restrictions with a particular IP address, which represents a kind of host. So access control lists are mainly used for this purpose. I don't know your background in computer networks and computer network security, but okay, Dulal. Let's see what Dulal will. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I think this was my question in my mind, whether I answered your question. It's access control lists, mainly computer networks, when you want to limit some activity for some host with a certain IP address. Any other question? Any other question? Okay. Yeah, you're right. I told you that I will give you my email. Here's my email. My private mail, so you can write me whenever you want. I mean, related to this webinar, if you have any questions related to this subject. I repeat again, this subject is very broad. There are a lot of details which I am not aware of now. I mean, nowadays you understand why a lot of it is ongoing. The main idea why I chosen this topic for this webinar is just to have a high level overview and or the big picture of what is going on and something about the concepts. Okay, you can find me on the LinkedIn if you want to connect freely. You can do so, and we can exchange our thoughts and whatever you would need in the future. So I'm open to communicate with everybody